I want to move into the third of four categories, if that's okay. And it's all about work alternatives and compensation. I want to touch on a few data points. We could have spent thousands of dollars and sliced the pie a million different ways. But what I'd like to do is just point out this little, I love this slide. This is straight out of the Global PMI Salary Survey in its 7th edition that was just released several months ago. Don't go to China. Just don't. They don't need you. They don't want you. In fact, they've got a workforce, a trained workforce of 300 million. They have a poor and destitute population of 800 million, from which if they want to ramp up to 500 million skilled people, they can just go get them. Okay? So I would just argue that that's not the place to be. But get your visa and check out the Swiss Alps. Because that's where I'm going next. If I move my family out of St. Louis, I'm going to Switzerland. I've been to Australia, I'll pass. So you know, I just thought those are neat data points to look at. Next slide. We did a real quick scan on Indeed.com, and we came up with these mean, and I think this is more realistic. I'll ask our panelists, and let's just start with Craig Frederiking. Those numbers up there, do they jive with what your experience is, either in terms of what you're competing with? Every firm your size does compensation surveys.
I'm going to say yes and no. I mean, there's elements of it that make sense to me, and I can look across our PM field, and it does make sense in some categories, but then there's others that it does not apply. And the way we look at things is more about what are the contributions that they're making to the organization. So it's not just where they come in. We don't try to put people in certain bands and that's where you stay. It's we bring you into the organization and what contributions are you making to the organization, and there's opportunities as you move forward. So some folks maybe on the higher end, and some folks much higher end, and then other folks maybe fit into this mean average here that we've got.
And they are non-loaded means. That's right.
Okay.
That just a question. The data point on the program managers got me a little baffled.
That it's low.
55.
I know. Let me. We talked about this earlier about actually quantifying the supply and demand of PMs in this market. It really turns into spaghetti when you start talking about program managers. In technology companies, a program manager is a combination of a customer service manager to a client, an upsell salesman to that client, and a project manager when things don't go so well on continuous improvement programs, projects rather. So program managers are all over the board. So that number, I didn't trust either.